We're here at For the Love of Horror. Douglas Tait, yes. Absolute horror icon with Monopoly events. How amazing has this weekend been? Because we were just talking about Freddy versus Jason, but yes. You're wearing the Michael Myers cap as well. Yes. You're one of the few actors to play Jason and Michael Myers.
Yes, I did the stunts in Halloween Kills. I did the SUV sequence. James Hugh Courtney plays him in the movie, but just getting to be behind the two most iconic masks of all time is pretty special. Me and Tom Morga. Yeah.
Yeah, 100. Obviously, Tom, he played Leatherface as well, so slightly outdid you. Slightly.
Yes, he's got me beat, but, you know, he's such a good guy, and we did a panel together here, and it's just great to be around these guys, the Jasons, the Michaels. They're all amazing people.
100%, because we got Derek Mears as well, who was your successor as well. That was like your last shot was then flowing into Derek's shot in 2009 with the Friday the 13th remake. What's it like interacting with those guys as well, actors that have played the same roles as you?
Yeah, it's you know, we're like a family. I've known Derek because we've auditioned, you know, for the same roles for years. We both live in Los Angeles. So it's just great to all get together as a family and see each other and talk, and, you know, and just to be a part of it, because the fans are, you know, the fans are why we're here. And it's so nice to come to England and see them be into horror just as much as in the States. It's just awesome. And this show is just absolutely incredible. I have to say, this is bigger than the biggest show in the States.
100%, and the lineup is crazy as well, because we got the Lost Boys cast reunited together as well. Are you a big fan of that film?
I am a fan of that film, and just like having someone like Kiefer Sutherland here, I mean, he's a superstar. I mean, his legacy in acting with his dad Donald, I mean, that's a huge guest right there.
100%, and we were speaking off camera then. You are responsible for one of the most iconic shots in horror film history, walking out the sea with Freddy's severed head, and that was the last time we saw Robert Englund in the makeup as well, which is absolutely crazy. You're going to be attached to that for the rest of your life forever.
You know, I didn't think about it. What's weird is like this is a 20-year reunion of Freddy vs. Jason. It came out in 2003.
Wow.
And I never thought about like that until this year recently, that wow, I was the last person to work with Freddy in the makeup in a scene in a movie. And actually someone brought it to my attention. I said, oh my gosh, you're right. And when we were on set, he was telling me that I'm done. I can't do this. I'm not doing this again. Yeah. And now that 20 years have passed, you know, it's like, it's very, you know, taxing on the body to be in a makeup and give that energy. So it's special now that I've heard that, because I was a huge Freddy fan, a Nightmare on Elm Street. And then as a kid, and then getting to be on set in my early 20s working with him was completely surreal.
100%. And, you know, if that film was coming out today, I would be geeking out so much, because it's two horror icons going head to head. And it was before all the multiverse things that's happening in the Marvel films and stuff. So crossover events were such a rarity back then. Yeah. Were you geeking out when you found out that you was going to be a part of that film and that film was even happening?
I was geeking out, and it took 10 years to make. And then when I found out that I was going to be a part of it, I absolutely because it was my first big thing that I had done. I'd done smaller things. So absolutely I was, because I was a horror fan. I grew up watching Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, Halloween. So it was honestly surreal. And what was crazy about it also is that the lake we shot in, I grew up fishing with my grandfather. My grandfather just passed away before I got Freddy vs. Jason. So I was at this lake that I grew up fishing with my grandfather, and here I am in a Jason outfit with Freddy Krueger, and it was like just so special.
It's a real full circle moment, right?
Full circle. And then now that I'm here and I get to meet these amazing, you know, British fans, and it's just a great, you know, a great thing to be in this place, to be able to do these things.
And I know you were saying like it sucked at the time that some people were airing their voices when they were wrong. They like, it's not a bad film at all. It's a great film. It's Halloween tradition to watch that film. But to now see all these years later, all the love that it's getting, and face to face at these events, you'll hear it all the time. People saying how much they love the film.
Oh yeah, I've heard it so many times. I hear it in the States. I hear people, oh my God, that's the first horror film I've seen. And then it makes me feel old. And also like the fact that, you know, they had talked about doing another one, but the fact of the matter is, I don't think that it wouldn't be as good, because without Robert, you could replace a Jason, but you can't replace Robert Englund.
Yeah, because that's what they were talking about at the time. They were talking about doing Freddy versus Jason versus Ash from the Evil Dead. And was that the snag then? The snag was that Robert Englund was completely done.
You know, I don't know. There was a lot of rumors that went out. Someone said something else about Pinhead also. And I don't even know if those were actually in the works. I think it was just fans that mentioned it online and became, you know, like it went viral or something. So I wasn't a part of hearing about that for real, so I don't even know if that's a thing, but I did hear about it. But Robert Englund, like I said, told me on set, this is my last time playing him. And you know, even though the other actor is a great actor that played him in the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, it's just people, the fans, because they tell me all the time, oh, I didn't like that movie because it wasn't my Freddy. So it's hard to do that without him.
And what was the feeling like in comparison to putting the hockey mask on and the Michael Myers mask? Like, how they must have just been incredible feelings.
They were both incredible, but I have to say I'm more of a Halloween fan. It was the first horror movie I saw was Halloween 2, which Dick Warlock played so brilliantly, Michael Myers. So putting on the Myers coveralls and the mask for the first time was just amazing. And Sean Clark has brought me in on that project. He's my signing agent. Like years before, I was supposed to actually play him in a movie called Halloween Returns, Michael Myers, in 2015.
Wow. That
never went. You could find the script online. Myers is on death row, and he's getting electrocuted, and he busts out and starts killing everybody, and then he gets out of prison. Oh, and I got the role, and then it just never got made.
Yeah.
So I said, man, I'm never gonna get this opportunity. I'm such a fan. And then fast forward years later, even though I didn't get to play him in the main one, like James is the main and he was brilliant. But at least I got a piece of it, you know, so.
And what was it like? I'm guessing that you've had conversations with Nick Castle as well this weekend. The OG Michael Myers.
So what's so great is like I've met Nick so many times. We were at Halloween 45 a couple months ago. Neil was there. You know, Nick is so cool, and Nick was a director and writer of huge movies, and they were just kids. He's even said this. I was just a kid, and they said, John said, put on the mask, and I just put on the mask, and I did this, and I never thought anything about it, you know. And then here he is, just like, you know, people adoring what he did, and he's just such a nice person, and he's so genuine, and like he's just happy to be here too, because it never, like, now when I was a part of it, it was a huge thing. When he did it, it was just a indie film that they were having fun as young guys. So it's pretty cool that it became what it's become.
And what was it like being a fan? I'm guessing that you went to the cinema to watch your portrayals in both of those films. What was it real goosebumps moments? Was it emotional as well?
It was goosebumps for sure. Freddy vs. Jason, I remember I went to the premiere of it. So like that was like my first big movie, and you know, to be a part of all that and to see my name on the big screen, I mean, that was so cool. And yeah, you know, just seeing the movie on the big screen, it, like when you're a part of something, it's fantastic, you know. And then being here and the fans' reaction to these movies, you know, without them, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing because they're consuming our work. So it's a great feeling. It really is. And I have a movie that I directed that I'm promoting with my wife here at the con called Angel Baby, coming out December 15th in the States. We don't know when it's coming in UK, but hopefully early next year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And just from that side of it as well, what's it like being a creator on the creative side of things?
It is the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's also the most rewarding and I've learned the most, you know, because when you're an actor, you show up on set, everything's taken care of for you, and it's still hard work at times. But when you're a creator and the director, you're wearing so many hats, especially in an indie film. You do so much. It's exhausting. But now fast forward a couple years later, like what it's doing for me and the people I'm meeting and the doors it's opening would have never happened if we didn't put that effort and work in.
100%.
So, yeah.
Adding a lot of feathers to your cap.
Yes.
And Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, you were involved in that as well. And you as a collective, the stunt team won. Did you win an Academy Award for that?
We won like best stunt ensemble on there, and that's something that for me, that was another huge film that I was like, as a kid, I was like, oh my God, Indiana Jones. Being a part of the stunt team is not as special to me as being an actor in the film, but it's still like a nice thing to be a part of. That franchise. Yeah, that's like a bucket list moment, surely, right? Yeah, like I wish the only thing is that I was like, I wish I could have worked with Steven Spielberg, but I didn't. It was like a second unit thing, right. But still, just being a part of that was pretty cool. So obviously, we know that you've played Michael Myers. We know that you've played Jason Voorhees. Are you trying to tick another horror icon off the list? And if there was someone else, who would it be? To be honest with you, I'm gonna say this. Like I said, I'm such a huge Myers fan, and since I never got my shot in that Halloween Returns, and I just did a stunt scene in Halloween Kills, James was the guy. I want to play Michael Myers in a full movie. Yeah, well, they're on the show. Yeah, they're on about the show, aren't they? Yeah. But they're on about doing a film as well. So in terms of the show, how do you think that would work? Do you think they could do an anthology angle where it would be different killers, like it was teasing Halloween Ends, wasn't it? It was a sort of... I don't think they'd do that. I think they'd go like totally reboot and make it the original Myers, and maybe start, from early on, and then have them, come and do their own thing. I don't think that they would do different killers. But I don't know, because I don't know the storyline and the angle of it. But it will give you many episodes, and I think people would dig seeing an ongoing storyline, because TV is where it's at now. It is. It's like back in the day, TV was, actors didn't want to do TV because it was like lower, that's for the lower people. Now it's not the thing. Now TV is where it's at. Yeah, 100%. So, and people aren't flocking to the cinemas like they used to as well. People would rather sit at home and watch an episode a night and watch a story entail. And you could binge it, like you could binge a whole 2 series in a couple days, and so that's where the money's at now. That's why they're doing that. 15, 20 years ago, they would never do a Halloween series or consider it. So I would love to be a part of something like that. And who knows, it could happen. But it's Hollywood, and Hollywood is, you can never predict how things are going to go. Maybe we'll look back at this interview in a couple of years and it's happened. We'll be like, wow, we called it. We called it. Well, I'm going to definitely be back, because this show's amazing. And I've already told these guys that please have me back. So hopefully we'll come back and I'll say, dude, can you believe it? No, 100%. I'm sure it's going to happen, man. I'm sure it's going to happen. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate the time, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. I will. Thanks so much, brother.